Good evening. Oh, we're a little off center, aren't there? There we go. Well, Humphrey's in the background. Everybody likes Humphrey. He's my co-pilot, co-worker. Vice President of Asshole Consulting. So I got a request that, and you pay me, I'll do it, as long as it's within reason. And someone had a request for a video on why lawyers are such scum, or something like that. And this is somewhat important because you will need lawyers in your life for different things, and not all of them are scum, truthfully. I have friends that are lawyers, and they're good people, and some of them are good people, they're just not intelligent, and some of them are intelligent and they're good people, and some of them are intelligent and they're bad. So the issue of lawyers are not, it's not, oh, scum-sucking lawyers, because you're usually talking about a certain type of lawyer at that point in time. So I decided to kind of break down lawyers and explain the psychology of the bad ones anyway, so you understand why there are so many and why these particular lawyers really are the scum of the earth. And they are one of the primary reasons that the United States and Western culture is collapsing. So let's go over the good lawyers. I've categorized them into two categories, good lawyers and bad lawyers, to kind of simplify it a little bit. And I'll explain here. All right, your good lawyers. Now this could be good in terms of like they're talented, they're moral, or they're worth what you're paying them. They're not going to screw you over. They're not shysters, right? Let's talk about the T14 or the L14. These are the tier 1, or you see a tier 14 or top tier of law schools. And there are 14 of them in the United States. You want your lawyer to be from one of those 14. If not, in general speaking, they're not really good. And they're probably not going to be worth what they're charging. And I know a lot of lawyers who didn't go to 14, they say, oh, that's not the guy. I know good lawyers. I'm just saying, in general, especially if you're thinking about attending law school, don't even bother if you don't make it into the top 14 or this tier level 1 of law schools. I don't have the list. Just look up, I think it's T14 or maybe L14, but just look up tier 1 or tier 14 or whatever law school and you'll have that list. If you don't make it into that, then there's a drop, not only in terms of the quality, although some would argue, but certainly the employability. So your best law firms, which are called white shoe law firms, they don't mess around. They're good. They're talented. You may not like them personally. Some of them may be scum or amoral, but they're going to deliver the best service. All right. So look up white shoe law firms, and every major city has like a main. What is it here? Is it Faegre and Benson? I forget what ours is in Minneapolis. But there are these top law firms that hire from these top schools, and you get top legal services. So to give you an example, the law firms that have Oak, and they have a downtown office and all that other stuff, I used to think that was BS, like that's an unnecessary expense. No, it's not. They're showing you that, hey, we make enough money and we're serious. But look up, white shoe law firm, look up reputation, things like that. That's for a reason. It may seem an unnecessary hurdle or an expense, but that is proof, I would have to say. Not the fact they have an oak desk, but that they are a white shoe law firm and that they can afford it. So, if you're hiring them, they'll charge anywhere between $300 to $500 an hour, and they're worth it. So you have that there. Then there are also another group of good lawyers, are the specialists. And these, you can't really call them lawyers as much as you really call them accountants, because they're specialists in unique places of law. Not the scum bucket, ambulance chaser, or malpractice, or, the type that we usually associate. These are like your patent lawyers. For example, a lot of carry conceal people, you get a good gun lawyer, because if you have to shoot someone, it's good to have someone who has an expertise in that law. Business law, these are specialists that, help me set up an LLC. Well, there's really no controversy there. People that look over your financial statements. So those are your specialists, and like I said before, they take on more of your consultancy. So they specialize in an area and provide a service and advise about the law in that capacity. So those are your good lawyers. Now, your bad lawyers, let's understand the psychology of how bad lawyers come about. All right, most bad lawyers exist because they are bad people, and specifically in one way or another, and that is they're lazy. And everyone thinks I'm harping on this worthless degree thing so much, but I'm sorry, the worthless degrees go beyond the education bubble and have ramifications beyond that. Because your declared degree is your first declaration to the world as to whether or not you're going to work hard in life, whether or not you have a work ethic or you're lazy. So if you say I'm going to go into engineering or accounting or whatever else, that means I'm going to be realistic, I'm going to work hard, I'm going to do math, blah, 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 and live in reality and try and make a lot of money. People who are lazy and don't want to try hard in life will say, well, I'm going to major in the liberal arts, something soft, something easy. Now, they've been fed a line of BS their entire lives. They've had their asses kissed their entire lives, so that when they declare that they're going to major in the liberal arts, they think they're actually going to make money with a degree in English, or a degree in child psychology, or a degree in pick any one of the worthless liberal arts degrees out there. So what ends up happening is they go to school, they don't get jobs, they end up, like everyone knows today, underemployed, well, not underemployed, accurately employed, I'd say, serving coffee, cut the jokes about McDonald's, whatever, we've been there before. And what they have been told is different from what has been delivered, what the reality is. So they think, okay, well, I got to get a advanced degree. Now, many of them will double down on the same worthless BS that they got their undergrad in. But a lot of them then go where? Where's a logical place? Law school, okay? Law school doesn't require a lot of math. It really doesn't. Not anything like engineering or statistics or actuaries or stuff like that. So you get a lot of these people that are going to go into law because, again, they don't want a real challenge. They don't want to do the math. Really, society's problems would go away if people would stop being afraid of math. I'm not joking. I'm deadly serious about that. If we just didn't fear math, most of these people would not end up going this way. So you have these people that go to law school. Now, most of these people with their liberal undergrad degrees do not make it into the top 14 law schools. But by this point in time, they have been so programmed to think that they're great and they're deserving great things and they worked hard, they'll be accepted anywhere. They'll take any school. Naturally, they'll apply. I think Michigan is one of the top 14. I forget the other. I'm sure Harvard is up there somewhere. But they'll take it anywhere. Like, I've seen people have sent me emails or Facebook quotes, screenshots of people like, I got accepted into the ABC Law School, yay! And it's like, no, that is a death sentence. You don't want that. That's horrible. And what ends up happening, if you're not in that top tier 14, I forgot to mention this, it's very important, Glenn Reynolds' book, The New School, has amazing statistics. And one of the most amazing one is that currently they're graduating twice as many people from law school as there are job openings. So there's 2 law school graduates for every law opening. So they're going to a non-tier 1 school. They graduate with uber amount of debt. And law school is not challenging as much as it is time-consuming. It's tedious. It's very boring and mundane. So here's what you got. You have someone that has graduated. I took notes here. I just want to make sure I got it's logical. So here, okay, I got it. So here you have someone who their entire life, kindergarten, well, hell, even before that, 3 years old to 25 years old, 24 years old, has been told that they're going to go and do great things. Their parents told it, the teachers told it, their counselors told it, media tells it, politicians tell it, everyone, oh, you're great, you're great, you're great, keep going, give us money, by the way, go, 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 you're great, you're great, you're great. And as far as they think, they've worked really hard, and they got a 4.0 GPA in a liberal arts degree, which is like a 2.0 GPA in IT. There's an exchange rate. And then they go to law school, and that's an advanced degree. Well, they're really intelligent. I worked hard. And I'm not saying they didn't work hard. I'm not saying they didn't work their asses off. They just worked their asses off at something that isn't in demand and really isn't all that practical anymore. So as far as they're concerned, they are entitled to some modicum of success. Right? Now, how these non-top 14 law school graduates fall into 3 then main categories. And this is where the scum and why we all hate lawyers and everything else, right? The first one, they have no money. Like their parents aren't rich, they have no money. They have no access to money, okay? And what they do is they then go into practice for themselves. Well, they're usually crappy lawyers because they didn't get in a top school. The market is flooded with lawyers. And so they run their practice into the ground because there's just not enough business to keep them afloat. Right? Now, what they end up doing is becoming ambulance chasers because, once again, they've invested all this time, effort, and considerable financial resources into getting their degree. that they got to make money somehow, so they become desperate. And like a John Edwards, for example, go and chase ambulances. You've seen it. Have you sneezed? Have you been to McDonald's? You may have sneezentitis, and you are maybe entitled to $8 trillion, and contact the law firm of Dewey, Scrum, and Howe, and Dewey something and Howe. I forgot what it was. It's a joke. So that's where you get your ambulance chasers. These guys, they're so desperate to pay off their student loans and so desperate to validate the wasting of essentially a quarter of a century of their lives, and 100% of the youth. They'll do anything to make that money. Another group that they fall into is they also have no money, but then they go into activism and nonprofit. These are your crusaderists, your crusader type people. If you look at, go on Greenpeace, go on Sierra Club, go to any left-wing, even right-wing, touchy-feely nonprofit activist group, 9 out of 10 times. Well, 9 out of 10 times they either have an advanced degree in some worthless liberal arts or they have a law degree. And they're there because no one will hire them. They're just even too lazy to go and set up a company. At least the previous ones set up a business, they set up a practice, they get an LLC, and they file the paperwork. These people are just too lazy to do that. So, and then remember, they've been having their asses kissed the entire time, and they think they're entitled to great things. So they may not make the money, but they're going to make ego. They're going to make ego and like, I did, and pick. You could see every type of socialist, propagandizing nonprofit work out there. They're all doing that. All right, so they're pursuing their crusaderism. And then there's the final category of these people. They graduate with their law degree, but they have money, and not really they have money, but their parents have money. And these people go into politics. Al Gore, George Bush, Barack Obama. It's no shock that the vast majority of people in Congress have a law degree and come from money. All right, and in either case, whichever case of these three subcategories of the scum lawyers, they all have one thing in common, and that is that they value themselves more than society and more than others. Okay? The ambulance chaser, for example, they don't care whether or not that person is actually at fault. They don't care whether or not they drive up health insurance premiums. They don't care. They value themselves more than society. They want society to pay because they're entitled to it. They graduated from law school. They did everything they were told. They went into debt. They didn't go to a top tier 1 law school firm or school, and they couldn't get hired. And now, by God, they don't care who they screw over. They're going to get their money. All right. Then you have the crusaderists. These are pure ego type people. And you see them. They're nanny Nazis. They don't care about your freedoms. They want to. I use a perfect example. I'm sure here's 2 examples. The Keystone Pipeline, and then another one was this bridge across the St. Croix River, which merges with the Mississippi in between Minnesota and Wisconsin. The Sierra Club, I think it was the Sierra Club, their local chapter, they were fighting this for 17 years. And it was plain as day that if you believe in this global warming BS, that the traffic that not having this bridge put in was causing more or emitting more greenhouse gases than any kind of environmental benefit not putting the bridge in had. And it wasn't even environmental benefit, it was just it would ruin the view of the St. Croix Valley, which there's a power plant right there and a prison. So but again, it's not about the beauty or the scenery, it's about these people over at the Sierra Club having their ego stroked. And I think 1 or 2 of them had their law degree. So these people, again, they don't care about people. They don't care about other people's rights. They don't even care about freedom. Their crusade, their little pet project is more important than your life and your freedom. And if it takes freedom away from you, we don't care. Like the non-smoking thing. Look at every nanny Nazi thing. There's a worthless lawyer with a person with a worthless law degree. The person themselves are probably also worthless as well. And then politicians, the third subcategory. I mean, I don't have to explain that. You guys all know that. They're in it for ego. They're in it for money. They get bribed. It is so plainly obvious that politicians on both sides of the aisles just plain don't give a crap about America. And they just happen to have the benefit of having money and could run for office because it's fun. Who wants to work at a real law firm and, write documents and make presentations? No, let's just run for president because my grandmother is rich. That's how it goes. So we got that there. Now, so that's why those are the bad lawyers. Remember, there are good lawyers and there are bad lawyers, and these are the bad lawyers, and that's why they've come about and why you're going to run it, and then why some of them are dangerous. You just got to look out for these people because they don't care about society. They don't care about it. They'll take you on as a client, and oh yeah, we can do it, and then they'll screw you over. They're just not competent. So we got that. Now, I do want to do a shout out though, because I know my lawyer's going to get all upset. But no, listen, hear me out. This isn't to say if you didn't make it in that top tier 1 level of law schools, you're not hireable or worth anything. All right, it's just that's a guideline. That's a litmus test. If you're looking for a lawyer, what my lawyer recommends is finding a lawyer that you trust, who's a friend, who you don't need, who will then refer you to other lawyers. Because what it essentially becomes like is more like the medical profession. One lawyer does not fit all. There's general practitioners, just like there are doctors, but they usually outsource you to a specialist. Something wrong with your back, go to a back doctor. Something wrong with your eyes, go to an optician. Something wrong with your, I don't know, your skin, go to a dermatologist. Lawyers are the same way, and they usually will be able to snuff out the scumbag loser lawyers and ostracize them from their network. Okay, so try and find a lawyer who's a friend and maybe a generalist, but that's a family law, family practice, family practitioner, very similar, very almost identical to the layout or the logic of doctors. But go find yourself a lawyer that you trust and do it now. Befriend a lawyer. Not out of force, but if you find a lawyer, cool, befriend that person, because the time will come that you'll need a lawyer. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but and maybe not always for bad things too. You might want to start a business, whatever. Find a lawyer, someone that you trust, and then they will refer you to equal, because birds of a feather flock together. You got good lawyers that will flock together, and then they know these scumbuckets, they know these fly-by-night ambulance chasers. So find that person that's a good friend to have. And they'll also be able to help you, and they'll definitely be worth their weight in gold. So hopefully that answered the question. We also all learned something about lawyers and how to go find a good one, and also how to avoid the scumbag. Toodles. Oh wait, hang on. Now that was a 10-15 minute video. There's a whole chapter on law and legal services and things you need to know in Bachelor Pad Economics. Where is it? Whatever. This is everything. It's like the freaking Boy Scout book. Get it? All right, we'll see ya.